Hi, ladies. Today I have a very lovely friend and client, Francoise Everett, who's here with us to share her experience of simply getting on the phone and having some one-to-one coaching that I made available in this past week. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Francoise, darling. Tell the audience, where you were and why did you take up this opportunity to speak to me personally?
Well, Grace, excuse me. You invited us to have a one-on-one with you, and I couldn't wait to take you up on it. And so, as you know, when I came to the video call with you, I was pretty emotional actually, because things were just all in my point of view and a lot of confusion and and lack of clarity. And so when we started talking and you just listened to me and asked me questions, I mean, first of all, it was really, really peaceful. And, as we know, I was sort of caught up in this thought storm. But what really came through for me is that I couldn't see the obvious. I mean, as you pointed out, it was right in front of me. It was right there. And you said to me, when you listen to this again, you will see how clear you are. And it sort of did a couple of things. First, it made me remember and see again the power of coaching, which I can see with my own clients. But when you're the one who can't see clearly, that's one thing. It's really powerful when someone else can just point you in that direction. And that's what I love about this work with you, Grace, is that you are able to point us in the direction as opposed to be like, oh, I see it really clearly and this is what it is. No, it's like, oh. And so when I was able to see that it is right in front of me, and when you were able to ask me questions of what my clients were getting and with my, working with me and I went back, I realized I was the one who had taken myself off track.
What did you feel unclear about? Can you share with the
Yeah.
audience?
Yes, of course. I felt unclear about specifically what I was marketing because I feel like my coaching is very holistic. And so to hone in or niche down and all of that felt like it didn't fully bring my work together, which to me was a frustrating experience. Right? And so you helped me see just one way to focus. Like you helped me see that one of the things, and I couldn't see this for myself, as crazy as it sounds, but several years ago, I would talk about helping women with elegant sales conversations, as I told you, I just shared with you. Whenever I would go to networking events or luncheons with women entrepreneurs, and then I kind of stopped saying that because in one way, I was like evolving, so I wanted to be more comprehensive, and yet that's one thing that women really come to me for is for that ease and comfort and feeling really good. And as I shared with you, I had facilitated a workshop the week prior on a particular topic, and yet the women wanted to talk about peace of mind and ease around money, and they wanted to talk about the elegant sales conversations. And that's also something that through our conversation was brought to the surface. It's not something you knew, but in your asking me questions like, oh, actually it comes up naturally.
And how did it feel? What changed for you in terms of your feeling and productivity and any results after that conversation and you getting clear?
When I got clear in our conversation, first I wanted to make sure it felt like a yes for me, not just taking it on like, oh, do this, right? And I did this occurred for me while we were on the phone. I was kind of like, or on this, the conversation. And I thought, okay, yeah, yes, yes, I recognize this. So part of it, it was like, it was already there, Grace.
Yeah.
Couldn't see it. So when we talked, the recognition was there,
Mhm.
right? I recognized it. I was like, oh, okay, yes. And then, and it was a very peaceful experience. I mean, I was very emotional, as you recall, but it was very peaceful. It brought me back to a place of peace, to be having this conversation and to see it clearly. And so then I thought, okay. And then I think later that evening, I rewatched part of the video that, you know, you had recorded this conversation for us, for me, and I rewatched it, and which was really powerful because now I could observe it and see. And then also the very next day, what happened is I had a meeting. So I had a meeting with a woman as a follow-up. Like, we just clicked when we met the week prior, and we just got together and talked about our businesses. And I only talked about helping women with elegant conversations and ease around money, or peace of mind around money. And she instantly said, oh my goodness, I think you could be a speaker at our conference. Now, I still don't know if this is going to occur, but it opened up a door to have a conversation with that clarity. And it's
Yeah.
moved a lot of things along. So not being attached, but committed to my message and not being attached to the outcome, I was just like, yeah, this is what I do. And this is how I help women. And, you know, if I can speak to her company about, like, with 450 women entrepreneurs, that's a big opening out of the clarity that I got from our conversation. And so it's really a big deal to have even peace of mind around my own message, right? And
Yeah.
to stick with it and not
Yeah. There's
distracted with all these other things, because everything else will come. And what was really also powerful, Grace, is that I could look back and look at the work I've already done with clients and see
Mhm.
that that is what resonated with them. And then we did a whole bunch of other work that was personal, deep, deep work that shifted them from the inside out. And the clarity was remembering, recognizing you, helping me point in the direction
Mhm.
to see it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's something so powerful about as I call it, picking a lane when you're starting out, and it seemed to me that it was showing up sort of on your radar. But it is hard to see when you're lost in so much kind of, whirlwind of what you should be doing and what you should be sharing and everything. But I love that the result was pretty immediate, in the sense that when you are clear and you do pick a lane, as it is, you sort of narrow in, and an opportunity presents itself, and you know exactly what you can offer and what you can't. So I'm really, really pleased for you. What would you say, Francoise, to women that might be um, in the position that you were in right now? Like why is it important to have an outside perspective, or particularly to consider even getting on the phone with me and getting this recorded for themselves at this time?
Well, first I want to say that I think this is really helpful to anyone starting out. I also
Mm-hmm.
think it's helpful to someone who just got stuck. Like, I'm not starting out, but
Yeah.
in our businesses, we can get stuck. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think every entrepreneur gets stuck at some point. Like, there's no, like, so I think for anyone who's kind of like, what am I doing? Like, why am I stuck? That is a powerful conversation to have with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing. And then I just think, the first of all, the invitation to have a conversation with you is beautiful. It's a gift to yourself. And I mean, it just opens up worlds, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, and actually, I think even you recording the conversation so you can watch it again, is incredibly powerful, because then you see yourself as like, you're not in it anymore. You can observe yourself. Like you can say, oh yeah, actually it's right in front of me. I mean, for me, this was right there. As my mother would say, it's right under your nose and you can't see it. And it was. Right.
What do you think took you away from that knowingness or that clarity? What do you think took you away? It might be universal for people listening, or it might be personal to you, but what did you get lost in?
You know what I got lost is in, first of all, I've been evolving a lot. And so I often feel like when I discover something new and evolve, I want to include and I want to move in that direction. Mm-hmm. And so that had me lose sight, or maybe, as you know, we would call it, the grounding of my message.
Right.
So if I lose that, then people can't recognize why they would want to work with me. Mm-hmm. But when I consistently had the same message and everywhere I showed up, I was saying the same thing, then that repetition reinforces the message. I personally was probably getting bored with saying the same thing in a way. Right? That's like something that I was like, oh, but if women come to workshops and they come 3 or 4 times to my workshop and my workshop changes, but they keep wanting to have the same coaching or come back to the same topic, there is something there.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
And so to remember, like my conversation with you allowed me to remember and recognize, oh yeah, they did come for me for that. And yet they coached with me for this. Like that's what got them connected, was that they wanted to learn to feel elegant in building their business and having their sales conversations.
Yeah.
And they did get that through the coaching. And our conversation, my speaking with you, Grace, allowed me to remember that and to recognize it.
Yeah. I always say, we're not learning anything new. We are just remembering. And so I think it's so cool that you've seen the power of that. And what I would say to the women out there that are considering, getting on the phone or coming forward for this complimentary call that I'm currently offering, is it's there for you if you'd like to simply clear the thought and remember what it is you're here for and what it is you've got to offer and what it is that your next step is, whether that's in terms of a business or a career or a relationship or any decision you might be spinning on. So get in touch. You can book a call with me presently via scheduling on the link below. And perhaps like Françoise, you will really see something very clear and very new, or rather you will remember what it is you're here to do. And that in itself will open up new doors of opportunity and inspire hopefulness and generate a whole direction for marketing, selling, sharing, being visible, or simply just doing what you love. So Françoise, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And just for those that are listening, what is your website and where can they find out more?
Oh, thank you, Grace. So the website is francoiseeverett.com. So it's FRANCOISE, and then Everett, EVERETT.com. But, and the business is Elegance Business and Lifestyle.
Cool. So fitting. So fitting. Thank you, darling. And we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much.
Bye.